That's not true.
Yeah, it's... I'm not losing money, let's put it that way. There are very minimal costs. You have transaction costs, you have build costs and stuff like that, but you'll see they're very minimal. They're a couple million per transaction. And then you turn around and sell these piles for hundreds of millions. It's like, yeah, worth it. I used to worry about how much money I was sending my PI alts. Now I'm just like, oh, he ran out of money. Send him 100 mil, because I know he's sending half a bill back. So. In high sec, it's pretty farmed. I wouldn't do it in high sec. Low sec, I've had some pretty profitable farms in low sec. You got to find the right place. You can't find some major system. May not be a good place, but for the purposes of our sort of demonstration here, it'll be fine. Can I fit in the cargo? I can't fit in the cargo. Okay.
To go back to the PI stuff, just looking at a couple of the more pretty stable price stuff, like oxidizing compounds, probably one of the most stable Tech 1 PI items. And if you look at a 6-month chart from Tashmurkon or the Citadel or any one of the major trade hub regions, you'll see that it's almost double its value in the last 3 months.
So there you go.
So, you're saying that PI is not profitable. I mean, you can say that, but the data completely says no.
Okay, this is odd. What do I have? Oh, I grabbed a gas. Never mind. When I planned this out, I must have said, hey, let's build on a gas planet. It's whatever. So, disregard anything I said about... Well, we kind of covered how the scanning and everything works. Needs to be in the cargo hold, of course, not the fleet hangar. Gas command center. Put it there. Always click submit. And now, watch this. I don't even need to be in space anymore. Dock up. So for that part, we're going to cover kind of security and your logistics later. I kind of did it in a quick way because I know I had a good undock where I could just immediately go back in there. Or at a Citadel, you just stop your ship, approach a bookmark at 0, and you'll be fine. Once you drop it on a planet, you don't have to be out there anymore.
The only time you ever need to be undocked is if you're transferring stuff from to a POCO. Like, so if you're taking stuff to the planet and taking stuff off the planet, and that's basically it. Or to put a command center down.
So, as you can see here, let's look at these base numbers for CPU and power. 1,675 teraflops. We start with 1,675 teraflops, and then 6,000 on power grid. So, let's upgrade this to level 4 to show you how useful this is. So now we've jumped to 21,315 and 17,000. T1 versus T4. There's the value in your command centers. That's just what you need to do for upgrades. Here's the cost for upgrading to level 4. 4.2 million. Nothing. Go pop a battleship rat, right? So, yeah, we built our command center. Now, the command center is actually going to do nothing more for us at this point because we aren't going to use it in our design, as you'll see here in a minute. First, I am going to find some good deposits of something, liquids. Let's get some liquids. This gas planet does have them. So, now that we've established our command center, I want to put the extractor kind of close. We're lucky that we're on a gas planet. You can put it wherever you want or wherever you need. I could put it down here in this big eye, actually. But you're going to kind of do some spinning like this until you remember where all your farms are. Because by default, it'll go back to your command center when you first open up the planet. So bear that in mind. It may not bother you, but it bothers some. So first thing we have to do, we have to build an extractor. This, you see the shaded area around it? That is the area in which you can put extractor heads, so to speak. So we always want to have it covering a spot. In fact, I'm going to place that a little better. I'm going to place it here so that I can cover the belt as well. Let's hit submit on that. You have to submit. You have to click submit after every item you put down, or anytime you see it pop up, just start hitting it, because I've had bugs come up where I'll go through 20 options, 20 different things, and I'll go to save the changes, and it's like, hey, you can't do that. I'm like, bullshit, I can do that, but it doesn't tell you enough information to tell you where the problem is, so you have to start over. Really annoying. Anyways, let's get to extraction. So, we're getting to the part where you do a lot of clicking. You'll notice that when I opened this extractor, everything just went away. That kind of perplexed me at first. But when you click survey for deposits, you have to click what you're surveying for. I don't know why it doesn't carry over from what you selected already, but it doesn't. So bear that in mind. I like to set the size first. This size is going to determine how long of a cycle you're running. Adam recommends 3 days. I also recommend 3 days plus. If you want to do 5 days, you can. Just realize that the size of the heads on these tractors, the area they pull from, is going to get bigger the longer the time you have. So let me do a couple here to kind of show you. I'll put them in a high contrast area out here where it's kind of brown. So we're going to shrink it way down. It takes up almost no space. Let's take it to the max, 14 days. That covers a good chunk of the area by itself. And you'll see that the amount it draws per hour drops off very quickly because it just sucks that area dry over the course of 2 weeks. Now you set it here. Let's set it. That's fine. We'll just do 3 days, 16 hours. That's fine. Set it here. We're not getting tons of aqueous liquids from here, but we're not done putting out all of our extractor heads yet either. You can have, I believe it's 10. Yeah, 10. You want to just do all of them. You'll arrange them however you want to, as long as you're in a kind of a hot spot. If you have better scanning skills, you can see where that spot is the hottest, like this. I don't have perfect skills, so it may be like an 8. It may not be a pure perfect circle. It may have different spots in here that are more dense. But as you can see, I'm getting, on average, I'm getting 21,000 units per hour, basically. Starting off at 48,000 and tapering off to 21,000 units per hour. It's going to tell me at the end, if you hover over it, how much is coming out. So if you're keeping track of all these things, you can see what your total output's going to be. We're going to go ahead and start that program. Okay, now they're extracting as soon as I hit submit. They're going to work. It'll tell you what the cycle is. You can see where you're at if you come back. But if you get the app, I'm going to show you later. Adam has one for iPhone. I have one for Android. It'll tell you, send you alerts and stuff like that so you know when to be home and reset this cycle. Once you have all these planets set up, with the exception of having to move this setup to a different spot because you've drained that part of the planet, you only have to just come back and restart the program every so many days. It's very nice. So, finding a good planet. That's where finding a good planet comes in. Now, this one, if this bar had been a lot higher, I probably wouldn't have to move this for a very long time. But it's kind of low, so if I had gunned this for 2 weeks, I'd probably have to move it at some point. So now, we're going to move on to the next point. We have to turn this into water. We need to use just some processors, basic processors. But first, we need to have somewhere for this product to go. You can't go from an extractor to a processor. You have to send it to storage first. So we're going to build a launch pad. We're going to use it for storage. I'm going to right-click it. I'm going to create a link between it and the extractor. And then I'm going to click that link, and I'm going to upgrade it. Just to level 1. It does use power grid and CPU, so we don't need to go crazy. And now we have somewhere for this to go, but we have to tell it to get there. This is where routing comes into play. Hope you're taking notes on this, because this is what you're going to spend most of your time doing, is setting up routes. This is what causes most people's headaches. You want to be very careful with it, because you may have some weird situations where you're pulling from here, even though it's supposed to come over there, and some weird shit happens, and you're like, what the hell? So, it's very repetitive once you get a bunch going on. We're going to start off with the products inside this extractor. Take the liquids, we're going to create a route, we're going to select the Launchpad, we're going to click Create Route. That's the repetitive part. Once you get all your basic processes out, you're going to do that over and over and over again. You have to do it one time for each one. There's no config file I can upload and say, just do this. I can't automate it. Warmonger has a question. What's the best planet for PI? The planet that works into your scheme, into what you're trying to getting. There's no best planet.
The answer is yes.
Yes, the planet. Yes, is there a best planet? Yes. What is it? The one you need. The best planet for PI, you'd have to watch the P1 prices, and you have to watch for a spike, and you'd have to cash in on the spike pretty quickly. The spikes don't last more than a couple days, from what I've seen when I'm watching it. If my watching app is correct, in fact, I never actually log in and check it, but it's supposed to be pulling stuff from Jita's market prices, like buy orders. So supposedly it's accurate. So we're going to submit that. And now you'll see that this link has a line moving in the direction. It sort of looks like a tread moving in the direction of that spaceport. That's exactly what we want. Sorry, launchpad. It's a launchpad. Spaceport, launchpad. It's interchangeable, whatever you want to call it. So now we need to build somewhere for those raw materials to go. We're going to build a processing plant. I'm going to click submit. We don't need to upgrade the processing plant. We do need to make a link between it and the launch pad. So now we can click submit again. And keep in mind, I'm doing all this while I'm docked. So you come out, drop your command center, dock back up. No need to take a risk on it. It's very nice if you have to go. If you have real life come up, you can just go, well, right down where I was. I'll be back later. So it's pretty nice. So now we need to tell this processing unit to make something. We can't send anything to it unless it needs it. It seems kind of backwards. You'd think you'd send it there first, but you have to tell it what to make first. You can use key presses here to jump through the menu, as you can see here. So we go bacteria, we go to water. So if you really kind of like to go fast like that, you certainly can. You can also double click.
By the way, if you double click the processor, it'll open up the schematic window automatically.
Yep, I was going to show them that in the next one. So we made a route. It's going to produce water. It's going to send it back to the launch pad. Now we still haven't sent any raw materials to it here, so let's do this. Now doing it from the launch pad is a little different. There, as you see, there's no sort of window like with the extractor that says the products that are coming out. We have to go to routes. We can't go to storage. There's nothing in there. If there's something in there, we could create a route from here, but we haven't extracted anything yet. It's still processing that first run. So we can take the incoming, because we know we have a route and we know how much is coming in. It's just not here yet. Take that, click create route, and send it to that processing facility. Now we have a complete loop. This will extract aqueous liquids, send it to here, send it to the processing facility, turn it into water, send it back. You send it to the POCO and go sell it. That's a basic setup. Now, we need more of these to actually start really pumping out some volume. So I'm going to do another one here. I'm going to do it the way I normally do it. So, we need a gas facility. Put it here. Right click, create link. Boom, there. Schematics, water, double click, submit. Repeat until done. Now, if you wanted to, you can actually look at these and see how much is coming in. You can see the quantity coming in. You can see the quantity going out. You can do the math and figure out how many of these you need, because this will also tell you how many it's consuming per cycle. Every cycle, for this one, it's 30-minute cycles. So it's going to put out 20 units every 30 minutes. That number goes up as your items get more complex, I believe, Adam. I think they turn into hour-long cycles at P3. I'd have to
yeah.
I think they are hour-long cycles. You'll see what they are. But it'll take in those raw materials and spit them out. So you can do the math and see how many you need. I find it's usually between 6 and 7, depending on how much you're pulling out of the planet in the first place. So I'm not going to do all 6 or 7. I'll do one more. Put it there, right-click, create link. I like to hit submit often because you never know when the DM's going to derp on you and say you can't do that. Double-click a lot, create a route, submit. Just like that. We go back. I like to do all the processing plants first, create all the outgoing routes for the things they're going to make, then go back to my routes for my raw materials, and then do this over and over again. Just like that. I can set up a planet in about 6 minutes. 6 to 7 minutes. You get very quick at it with a P1 planet. So yeah, let's set up P1 planets. Any questions from people so far? Questions, comments, concerns? It's pretty basic at the P1 level. One thing to keep in mind, these P1 materials are big. They're very big because you need so many of them to be worth anything. So, take for instance, they're what are they about? What are they? I can't remember what the mass is on them. They're not small. Let me find some personal assets here. Oh God, I have things everywhere. Here we go. Here's some P1. This is biomass. It's a P1.
They're almost 0.4 M3.
Yeah, they're almost 0.4 M3 per unit. I have 62,000 units there. The volume is 23,000 M3.